Hi there, and welcome to Lesson 4 in the Getting Started at Farmers Markets Vendor Toolkit, titled Product Pricing Strategies. I'm Tammy Howard with the National Center for Appropriate Technology, and I'm excited to talk about strategies for pricing your product for selling at farmers markets today. Many beginning farmers and food processors that are selling at farmers markets start out with a pricing strategy that reflects what everyone else is charging. While this is a good place to begin, it is not where you want to be forever. Over time, it's important to know your costs and to set prices so that you can be profitable. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about a few different strategies that are typically used by producers to price products, then talk about the strategy that might be best for vendors selling at a farmer's market. So the very first step, regardless of your pricing strategy, is to calculate your cost of production. This includes having an understanding of your fixed costs, your variable costs, and giving some thought to what you want to set aside for profit. Think of fixed costs as the monthly charges that don't change, like a mortgage, your insurance, or if you have a loan for equipment that pretty much stays the same every month. And then variable costs vary throughout the year or from month to month. Those can be costs like labor, seeds, utilities, etc. A cash flow worksheet will help you understand your cost of production for a specific enterprise, or you can do it for a group of enterprises like the vegetables on your farm, for example. On your screen is a cash flow budget template in an Excel spreadsheet. If you haven't done a cash flow exercise, we highly suggest you do this to understand how much it costs to produce products that you intend on selling over the course of the year. If farmers markets are your only revenue stream, then you're going to need to account for this in the off season and then estimate these things in the very beginning when you get started with your farm or with whatever your enterprise is. I know it's a bit hard to see, but this sheet includes farm income, which is here at the top, and then farm costs. And it's broken down by each month, which is listed on the top of the spreadsheet. This helps you understand when times are lean and how to account for a negative balance during those times. So now that you have an idea of how to understand your cost of production, let's move into strategies. Cost-based pricing strategies take into account your cost of production and apply a particular margin that you're going for. It does not take into account what the customer is actually willing to pay, though. Values-based pricing includes factors such as your farm brand, the trust that you've developed with customers, and customer loyalty, and then practices that create extra value that a customer is willing to pay for. In both pricing systems, it is imperative that you understand your costs of production. So let's talk about the cost-based method first. The cost-based pricing method utilizes a fixed profit or margin that you add to your overall costs. Don't worry, I have an example of this next, but this just outlines how you calculate that and determine the price of your product. So here's a hypothetical example using this organic cheese from a Montana dairy. If their variable costs, such as feed, labor, and packaging, are about $3,000, and then their fixed costs, such as their mortgage and taxes, are $2,000, they're going to need to make at least $5,000 to break even. And if they are producing, say, 950 units of this packaged cheese, they will need to charge at least $5.26 to break even. And that's just a break even price. So they would mark up their product from this baseline of $5.26 per package. So let's move on to the customer-based approach. In a customer-based approach, you focus on how your customer values your product. With this method, consider what your customer values over your competition. Are you organic? Do you have the best flavored flathead cherry jam in the market? Do you sell grass-fed or grass-finished beef? These are just some examples of what the value that a customer is going to be attaching to a particular product. Direct markets, like farmers markets, give you a lot of flexibility with your pricing. There are more opportunities to get a higher price and a larger share of the market by emphasizing those perceived values that I was just talking about, in addition to the actual value of your product. That is less possible in a wholesale situation. Since we're focusing on farmers market pricing, it's important to think about some of those costs associated with selling there and accounting for that. Setting up a market stall and staffing takes more time than making a call and delivering to a wholesale account. It is still important to understand those prices of your competitors and make sure that yours are within reason if you are going to go with that values-based pricing strategy. And then understand what customers have a willingness to pay for that price difference that your product may have. Customers have shown a willingness to pay for things like selection, convenience, uh, superior quality, service, seasonality, and that whole farmer image, as well as cleanliness, freshness, and preparation. So these are some things that you can think about in terms of adding a little extra value to your particular product. So on your screen are some tips about pricing from a pastured poultry producer, the CEO of Pasture Bird on on the Barn to Door marketing platform. I encourage you to listen to this short piece titled Pricing Your Products for Profit and Ease, and you can find that link in the show notes. Price to match your consumers' desires. What we like to say is how you turn your customers' pains into a gain. And then simplify your pricing. You aren't trying to make pennies to the dollar in a direct market. This can help with food access as well. So think in terms of flat rates, like think of how to price by bunch or basket versus by the pound. And then, if possible, cooperate with other growers. If you sell, for example, if you sell lamb, work with an herb producer to combine your lamb purchase or your lamb with fresh rosemary or some herbs that would go really well with that. Now, as you start thinking about your own pricing strategy, think about how you can add value. Talk to your customers. If you are organic, we encourage you to research the fair local organic price for your products. If you're just getting started, observe the markets that you want to sell at. What are the gaps? This example here on your screen is a farmer that I'm acquainted with that loved growing peppers. They bought a roaster and they would sell roasted red peppers at their market. And the point is that they are actually adding value to that original pepper. So for more resources on this topic, check out ATRA, the Sustainable Agriculture Information Service, and the Farmers Market Network webpage, both listed on your screen. Thanks for listening.